little sip of COVID. Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of the Matty Chymbor podcast. Welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. You deserve it. I hope you got fucked up. I hope your hangover is left. And I hope you're getting back at your life in prep for the following weekend. We live weekend to weekend. Everybody is working for the weekend. Not me, because I don't have a job, although I do still like the weekends because everybody else is out. I feel like the poor kid during the day when all the normal kids and adults are in school and work, and then on the weekends they are able to play with me because I'm an alley cat of a human. Guys, if you're new here, thanks for checking it out. I mean, you, by the end of this podcast, should know a good amount about me and about a good amount about my mental disorders that have been undiagnosed, and you will probably be a good recipient of my symptoms, and you're going to be able to be like, wow, this is pretty wild. But anyways, thanks for checking us out. If you're returning, guys, I mean, you're the best. You must have a mental disorder as well if you're willing to tune in every week and watch me talk while little bubbles of spit accumulate in and around my mouth. Hey, that's just talking. We're still figuring out what's going on in the human body, and I'm willing to be a participant to the thing we called evolution. I mean, isn't it crazy that we think we're done? You know, imagine when humans were still evolving. You know, it was working out the kinks, and I love a good creative process. I think that's it's interesting to see. It's interesting to be a part of. I mean, I do it every day. I try to do it every day with my videos, where you sit down with an idea and you work through all the kinks and all the issues, and then you get a cool final product, which arguably isn't even a final product. It could be a thing you just didn't want to keep working on. And anyways, as human beings, I mean, we drool still. I sometimes fart and shit comes out. I mean, that's just we are just a work in progress. Let's be honest. In 200 years, it's not gonna, I don't know. What's evolution? Let's say 1,000 years, if we're still here and gas prices aren't $1 trillion for a drip. A trill for a drip. That's my new rap album coming out in 1,000 years, when I'm just a head in a jar that's being preserved for whatever reason. I mean, but anyways, in 1,000 years, we're going to look different. And they're going to look back on us and being like, what the fuck was that? What was that? That is crazy. They thought they were okay with that. But let's be honest, when you're in the now, everything seems fine. I mean, if we went back in time, life would suck. You think it'd be good because you get to see your grandparents and these people who died and whatever else you wanted to go back in time and deal with. But if you went forward, they would think you sucked. I mean, we have to live in the now. Live in the now. It makes sense. I mean, going back in time, we'd be like, there's no internet. There's freaking, undeveloped humans in the 80s. I mean, evolution is that distinct from then until now. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know, dude, it's crazy. My body's falling apart. I can't tell. I like to work out. Been trying to work out. I got my days off now. I'm trying to just really take my spare time and apply it to things that need working on, like my frumpy butter body. That is my body. My body is solely made of butter. I look like I belong at a fair in a plexiglass case. It looks like my body is in a butter exhibit with a loaf of bread scraping off butter from the butter cow in a carnival. But I was like, you know what? Let's just take time to work on the old glutes and hammies. And I'll be honest, the older you get, it's true. I mean, I'm 35. I don't think I'm that old. I don't like to be that guy. I don't like saying I'm like old. I think enjoy your age. I don't want to be like, I'm so old. And then when I'm like 38, I'm like, why was I parading around when I was 35 bitching about being old when now I'm old? And then even then you go further. You're like, when I'm 45 and I'm like, what the fuck was I talking about when I was 38? And what the fuck was I talking about when I was 35? But I am noticing changes in my body. My erections aren't as strong. What else? My body's changing. I notice gray hairs in my goatee. Yes, I have a goatee because I do magic. But I noticed changes. I mean, now it's like frick? What's going on? I can't tell if it's a soreness. I can't tell if I'm micro injuries. I think let's use my terms. I may be wrong. And we're going to touch on me being wrong based on the internet's assumptions or diagnosis and their opinions. But I feel like I get like little micro injuries now. They're not too bad. I can see them potentially growing into larger injuries. Like my hand hurts. I don't know if it's from doing pull-ups. Basically, I'm curious. I'm like, am I just dehydrated? And then I try to do moves and weights like when I was younger, when my body maybe didn't need as much water to be 100%, or and now I'm pulling things. I pulled my ankle golfing. I stepped in a hole. That's not my fault, but now it's like now my hamstring on that side is tight. My hand, I feel like I was doing pull-ups and it's just like the tugging. I notice when I wipe my ass that my like hand, basically like if you make a claw with your hand and I try to like push on my fingers, like this area hurts. And now when I wipe my ass, I'm not doing as well. And now I stink. Is this just like, this is how you become a grandpa? Like this is the process where like a grandpa isn't just like one decision as to why he is musty, grumpy, stiff. It's like a snowball effect of like he didn't drink enough water. He pulled his back trying to deadlift. He was like, okay, I won't deadlift, I'll do pull-ups. He pulls his hand. Now he can't wipe his ass as much. He also has trouble lifting his laundry, so he has to wear the same clothes more. I mean, see how I'm on the early stages of grandpaism, which is going to be a new disease. It's a new disease where it could potentially be a fetish. I mean, we see a lot of fetishes out there, and maybe grandpaism is it. Where, I mean, I have some friends. I mean, maybe guys and girls at my age you can attest, but I just start freaking dressing like a grandpa in my 40s, and they're like, dude, you need to stop this. And I'm just like, stop what, Vietnam? And they're like, you weren't there. You weren't in Nam. And I'm like, I was in Nam, and I saw my friends get shot, and they're like, you're full of shit. And I'm like, I am full of shit. My pants are full of shit. And I wipe my ass because my claw hand hurts. That's what I do see. I see a lot of my friends. They just act like, getting back to like complaining about being old, like hand in hand with that, you see a lot of like dudes. They just like getting older because they can like stop. I don't want to say stop trying. I don't like when my friends are young and they're just like, they just don't care. That like lack of care. Like, I'm gonna. What do you want to go out tonight? I'm fucking old. I'm like, dude, you're so young. You're so young, and you're going to be pissed off when you're older that you acted like this when you're young, or they're going to act even older. I mean, I'm not saying go to clubs. Like, let's be honest. I have given up on things, not because I'm like an old grumpy shit, but because I just see the stupidity in it. I feel like when you're younger, you make decisions with an influence of immaturity. And it's like, but again, it's fun. I mean, I remember going out to clubs and bars getting all fucked up, but now it's like, I don't want to get hungover. I mean, I'll go out. That's what I'm saying. I'm reasoning, but sometimes you have friends that don't even want to reason because they just want to hang out. But hey, I do condone, getting older, you get a good night's sleep. There is some benefits of not going out, which I've dabbled with the no drinking thing. I was on a friend's podcast recently, Ari Manis. It's called Unlicensed Therapy. Very funny podcast. And one thing that he was like, hey, I'm a not licensed therapist, but I'm good at giving advice, which in turn he did not really give me advice. We've just highlighted an issue, and he didn't provide any sort of remedy. Shout out to Ari for just opening a can of worms that he could not put the lid back on. And one critique, because I was like, I mean, this isn't like a real issue, but it's something, I'm always like, I was like, if I want to get advice on something, what can I get advice on? And it was basically, you know what, when I go out, this is me talking to him, I was like, sometimes I have trouble, and maybe this is just alcohol in general, but I'm like, sometimes I have trouble, like If I say I'm going to have 2, I have 4. If I say I'm not going to get drunk or I'm not going to drink at all, you have a cup, easily influenced, tough to pump the brakes I can stop myself from getting blackout, although it's always like just above what I wanted to do that night. So like if I'm going to go out and have like a drink, I have like 4 drinks. If I go out and I'm saying I'm going to drink tonight, but I'm not going to get drunk, I drink a little too much. I mean, not 100% of the time, but that's something I notice, and I'd like to get better. Like I even see, and I don't know what it, I mean, again, maybe because I'm still like, I'm so used to like working all week. So when I go to like a comedy show, like I'll go to shows and like, and I've done this before. It's not impossible, but it's harder where like you go to a show, you see your comic friends you never see, you're about to go on stage, and the waiters, you get free food and drinks, and then the other comics like aren't drinking, and I'm just like, what is that? That's interesting. I don't know what it is. I in the moment want to enjoy the fact that I can have a beer or two, because some comics do drink. It's very fun, but like, how do I take that lifestyle, maybe pull back, because I don't like getting hungover. I don't like feeling like shit. I have anxiety. It's not fun. And it's not like I'm like shivering anxious, but it's just like there's like a filter over you like the next day. Like if I have like 4 to 5 White Claws, I mean, it sounds sad because some people are like, I only have 2. I'm like, I can drink 2 by accident. I mean, let's be honest. But if I have just enough, there is a filter of anxiety over me that day, and it's not fun. So anyways, I was trying to pull back. That's what I do in life, and that's what you should do, people. You see an issue, and you reverse engineer it to the root, and then you solve from there. Everybody's trying to sometimes very out there with their problem solving. They see the end issue, and they're like, I got to fix that. Yeah, I have anxiety. I got to get anxiety. No, you're like, no, you got to keep pulling back you peel back the layers, people, to find the root of the issue. And then you solve there. And that can go for anything. I mean, even if for a goal, something you want. If I want the issue to go away, or if it's a goal, I want to achieve that goal. Whatever the thing is at the end of the road that you are trying to remedy, whether it's achieve it or get rid of it, you got to start peeling back the layers like it's a fucking onion. And for some reason, you want to get to the inside of the onion. But I'm saying, like, once you do that, you start to you break down the issue, and then it makes it much more manageable to start achieving it goal by goal versus just this giant problem at once. Apply it to things, people. That's what you got to do. Anyways, that's what I did with comedy. I mean, I was like, I want to start becoming a touring comedian. How do I do that? And a lot of comics, they don't have a goal of how to approach this as a logical thing. I mean, it's weird because on one side you just have to be funny and you have to prove your talent constantly. But on the other side, while you're juggling with one hand, you got to start to be like, how do I start to monetize this? How do I make this a goal? And I was like, okay, what's the coolest thing right now that I want? I want to sell out a show. Okay, how do I do that? I have to sell tickets. Okay, well, how do I sell tickets? Well, I have to have people who want to come see me. Okay, how do I have people who want to come see me? I get followers, because that's what it is now. Let's be honest. I was like, I can't just have fair weather fans that I can't pinpoint, because then I can't check off that I achieved that goal. So I was like, okay, I need followers. Okay, what's a good way to get followers? I need to make content. Okay, what's content that goes very viral? And I've had consulting on this stage. I was like, I need to, and I've consulted with a social media manager, but they basically was like, I need to make content that's shareable. And once I kind of got down to this phase, it was actually COVID. It was like the tail end or beginning of COVID and shit. Maybe it started already. It was kind of like COVID and mid-COVID. And then I started sharing tweets, because I knew people like sharing tweets. Wasn't my thing. And then I started making my videos, and now it's at a realm of me starting to work back up towards the goal, because now I started to get the followers. So now you basically find the goal, you reverse it, and then you re-achieve each goal in a small manner, versus me trying to like just freak out, like selling out of shows miles and miles away, and you gotta accept the small goals, where you gotta be like, okay, maybe I'm not going to sell out a freaking 400 seater, but I did a show in Austin and I remember selling it out and I was like, okay, see, it works. That process works. But then you got to keep going back to earlier, steps. And I guess you're always working on them. You're really not getting rid of them. It's not like I'm just going down here. Okay, I got these followers, and I'm never. You're always radiating between the two. But I think the first step is to kind of find the starting point and then go from there. Which this podcast is brought to you by Not Being Funny. Interesting. I hope you guys are enjoying this side of things. That's one thing I want to be more honest on this podcast. I don't want to always just be in your face, annoyingly funny. I mean, I feel like. I was thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I'm funny. I mean, on the internet, I'm funny on stage. I'm funny in person if I'm talking to you. But it's like, I need a place where people can be like, who's this guy? Who's this guy with the shell up, always being funny or trying to be funny? God, I wish I had another coffee. But yeah, going back to that goal thing. So anyways, with the anxiety, I was like, all right, I got to peel back. Let's peel this back. And it was the drinking. The drinking was the root. That was the nucleus of me wanting to better this issue. And I'm trying. I mean, so this week, but it's like on the weekend, I'm still trying to live my life. I'm not trying to just like, it's not, thankfully, I don't have an addiction. I don't have a problem. I'm not like this guy who's just like, they're like, Matt, you need to calm down. Like, luckily, I have it under control mostly, but I could always improve. And yeah, I was just surprised. I was like, how do you freaking just like, you see these people, you're like, good for you. That's like a very, that's a wise way of saying, good for you. Good for you. That's somebody saying, I see how you fixed it and I don't want to fix it. I went down to the step of pulling back and not have 2 instead of 4, and then my collective was just like, no, we're going to have 4. And then I just waved to the people going to the other stages like, good for you. I'm going to hang out down here and slam a couple Trulies or whatever White Claw of choice you are. Or White Claw, geez. I mean, White Claw is becoming like Coke for me. When I say White Claw, I mean just seltzer. Like when I say Coke, I'm like, want a Coke? Sometimes I just mean soda in general. And then they're like, is Pepsi okay? You're like, I don't give a fuck. It's so funny how like submissive and scared waiters get when you're like, can I have a Coke? I just mean like a brown soda. I mean, I don't really, you can put me fucking ginger ale. I don't really give a shit. And then the waiter comes back 20 minutes later, like, okay, we don't have Coke, but is Pepsi okay? And then they're like pulling back. You're like, I don't give a fuck if you, I mean, lie. Like seriously, who's ever gone to a restaurant, sipped their brown soda and goes, looked up slowly, this isn't Coke. And then the waiter just starts pouring sweat. No, it is. It's definitely Coke. It's not Coke. Let me talk to your manager. And then they just get fired because they didn't tell you up top. You're like, also, let's be honest. Who's at fault there? The waiter running around doing a million things, or this loser who really cares about the subtle nuances, which is going to lead me beautifully into my next topic. But it's like, I have 2 topics I want to talk about. My brain is tree branching in topics. We'll do the first one and then the next one. See how I talk to myself? We'll do the first one. Then there's just a fucking person in my brain just typing. Okay, you gotta do the first topic and then, fuck you. Like if you're really that guy, like I don't like the taste of Pepsi. You're like, you're a bitch. You're a fucking bitch. If that's who you are as a fucking person, if you really like, unless it's like poison to you and it's like you're just you're like foaming if you have Pepsi and there's something in it that makes you allergic. But it's like, let's be fucking honest. The ice is diluting it. You're taking a bite of a spicy chicken sandwich. You're not even tasting the Pepsi. You're just using it to wash down whatever shit you put in your fucking mouth. And you're going to bitch. Unbelievable. The things people, how bored people are and the things they find time to amplify to make an issue is nauseating. I mean, let's be honest. This is just the world we live in. Did people always do that? I feel like the more options you have, the more we're nurturing that like little fucking bitch mentality of just like, I don't want that one, I want this one. You're like, you don't want honey barbecue chips, you want regular barbecue. You're like, how about this? Fucking 30 years ago, they just had barbecue, and guess what? Some were honey and some were not. The more we give too many options, that's where you run into like, what, and then now you're like these like little micro arguments of like shit. You're like, what are we doing? Guess what? Back in the day, they just had potato chip, and then one day somebody goes, I mean, they're good, they're really good. Let's add a flavor. And then you got one. I mean, I don't want sour cream. I want barbecue chips. Like, what? Okay, not even that. Then there was like maybe arguments, but too many options. We're running into too many options in the White Claw world. I mean, the seltzer world. I'm sorry. There's a fucking billion seltzers out there now. They're all literally the same. Although there is a big flavor difference between some versus the others. I'm just going to say this now. The best seltzer at the moment is Topo Chico. Coming in second, I've had random independent company seltzers, but I'm going to say coming in second is White Claw. And in dead last is a Truly's. I mean, Truly's is like a child was trying to make Kool-Aid and they dumped half the flavoring in there. And you're like, this is absolute trash. I feel like I should be diluting it with another White Claw because the flavor is so disgusting. But that doesn't mean I won't drink it. Let's put an asterisk at the top of this list. I will drink all these seltzers if I'm at a party. I'm not going to bitch, moan, and complain and be like, I don't want True. I'll drink it because I'm a man. I'm trying to have fun. Remember that little, I'm going to drink 2, I have 4. That guy doesn't care about the flavor as much as he cares about the effect, which is a good thing. Not a good thing, but that's a thing. Oh, you care about the flavor? I want the effect. All right, guys, this is the list of all lists, and if you disagree, hey, let me find a list of seltzers before I do this because could be a hard seltzer brands. Hey, type like an older person. Hard seltzer brands. I did it in all caps because I'm 35 and didn't even know that was on. Let's go, baby. We got a good. I only know the top 3. And then you have these other companies trying to like piggyback on. Okay, let's just wrap our head around this real quick. Hard seltzer. I mean, we're gonna lump some more in. Okay, this is a good little ranking system. I'm gonna say this is your C. I should have done this earlier, but I didn't even know I was gonna do this list. So, I think we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. I didn't even have that one. What are some that I've had? It gets weird towards the end of my hard seltzer list. I said that because I feel like I don't want you guys to just me be assuming what I'm talking about. Because I haven't really had all of these per se, so I don't really know. I mean, I know the obvious one. I know what the obvious 2 is. And I know 3 and I know 4. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to leave 5 and on as like a potential to beat out 4, but I just don't remember it well enough, so it's tough to really talk about. Guys, welcome back to Matty Chymbor Podcast list series where we rank things based on my opinion and my opinion alone, which is what everybody else should be thinking, and you should be on board with me because I'm right and you're just a plebe. You're a follower and you have no opinions. No, I'm just kidding. But guys, I think this list needs to come out because there seems to be some sort of confusion when I'm going to parties. This is the top 4 seltzers. 5 is a wild card because it's some random ones that we haven't had at other parties, or it's some. I want to say this right because 5 is just like, it could be top 4. I've had it like once and I was trash, so I don't really know. But the ones that I've had more than 5 times each are worth ranking. So the top 4 seltzers, in my opinion, number 4 is Truly's. Truly's is absolute trash. If you like Truly's, you're a certain type of person who adds sugar to your soda. It tastes like somebody let a child make Kool-Aid and they dumped half the flavoring in there. It's disgusting. It tastes tart when it shouldn't be and sweet when it shouldn't be. I'm confused that people like that and actually buy it. If it's at your party, I still will drink it. Number 3 is White Claw. I think White Claw started a trend, but guess what? Sometimes, you get beat out by The Apprentice. You're still good. I mean, I call White Claw like it's Coke. I mean, I refer to hard seltzers as White Claws. So you have a level of respect in my book. I just think you need to figure it out. I mean, you're a leader, and you come out with these like fancy surf flavors that taste like they're just Truly's in White Claw cans. So I don't know what the move with that was, but guess what? You're number 3. I still respect you. I think your pineapple one's pretty good, but you're a pioneer. Number 2 in the top 4 seltzer list is Corona. Corona is a subtle flavor. It's crisp. It's good. I like flavors that are not in your goddamn face, but they're there. Just like a cool person at a party. If anything, you're kind of seeking it out a little bit because it's that good, and you're like, I like that he's kind of coming and going. He's bopping around my mouth. That sounds weird to say, but guess what? In the world of Corona or seltzer flavors, that's a good thing. It's like a cool guy at a party. He's bopping around. And he gets out, and you feel the effect of him. And I respect that. So Corona is number 2. Number 1, which I think a lot of people are on board with this, and if you're not, you're a psychopath. And if you think any of 2 through 4 is above this one, you should check yourself into a mental hospital. But the number 1 the number 1 hard seltzer flavor, in my opinion, is Topo Chico. They smash. They're so good. The flavor's perfect. The types of flavor, the flavor, like how much you can taste, is perfect. The types of flavors are creative. They're not some boring, grape. It's creative flavors. They're like Tuscan grape with a hint of titty. I mean, it's unique flavors. I appreciate it. Talk about like a Corona. Their flavor's there, but it's not there. It shows up late when you want it early, but in a good way. You're excited when it shows up. I mean, everything about it's good. You get lit. It's a cool, trendy brand too. I mean, we already mess with Topo Chico regular water, so they've had the foot in the seltzer door for a minute. They just added the hard, and guess what? It got us hard. So Topo Chico, you are number 1. That's the list, people. If you disagree, go fuck yourself. And if you agree, like and subscribe to the Matty Chymbor podcast. You found yourself a home. But what I was getting at with number 5, it's a wild card. These are flavors I have potentially had at parties. I remember, but I don't remember enough to rank it in this. I feel like I've had all those 4 that were worth having. I mean, like the Wild Basin, High Noon. Dave Portnoy is annoying. I mean, if he gave me a job, I'd take it, but kind of annoying dude. I mean, it's bizarre when you're that old and that in people's faces. As a young person, I mean, it's like I get beat. For all I know, he's cool. Let me step back. I feel like the guy, he's going to never hear this, and I am not. It's weird to me. It's weird when fucking old dudes dress like children. I'm just going to say that. It's not like you're not trying to be fashionable. It's when they act and dress like they're still 15 years earlier in their life. Like, let your fashion, let your lifestyle evolve with you. When I see old men like prioritizing Jordans and these like this big shoe movement, where I see like little like 5'8", 50-year-old dudes with like the side of their head shaved, wearing goddamn fancy ripped shirts, and then you look at their feet and look, they're wearing moon boots. You're like, what are you doing? Like, I get you weren't cool in high school. You seem like you bought The Game, which is a book on how to pick up girls, and you consulted with like a TikToker on your fashion. It just seems like you're trying to fill a void. I don't get that. It's just strange to me. I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because some Jordans I think look cool, but it's to the point where it's just like, if I see another 55-year-old man with like they're doing like the Jerry Seinfeld where it's like dress clothes and then you just see these like out of place Jordans. Like, remember when Jerry Seinfeld, he'd wear like a full suit with like the shocks, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, that doesn't make any, Jerry Seinfeld wearing a full suit, wearing the shocks, is like when you see old dudes wearing beads. Like, this is my biggest pet peeve. Sorry for sounding like kind of redundant, people. I'm trying to like think. It's sad that social media is dictating how I talk, but I just want to make sure I get it all out, because sometimes when I try to clip this shit, I just want to make sure it's right. But one of my biggest pet peeves on earth at the moment is these dudes who are like 45 to like 65 who wear beads. I don't know what's going on. It's this certain type of man, thick frame glasses, slicked hair, beads on the wrist, beads on the necklace, like full suit with like sneakers on. Like the Jerry Seinfeld look, you know, where he's wearing like a full suit and then he has like the Nike Shocks on, which RIP Shocks, those had a movement for a while and just went away. But I don't understand that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? I hate to sound rude. I mean, maybe I'm just not a jewelry advocate, but I mean, there's a certain like wannabe rich, maybe they are rich, but there's a certain like wannabe casually rich look, and it involves beads on the wrist. I don't understand it. It's very frustrating. I mean, or just some sort of loose rope, like it's a rope situation with beads around the necklace. You see it everywhere. It's like this unwritten, like, you know, cool, I'm going to just say cool white guy, rich, I'm a boss, but I'm cool because they have beads on. You're like, you're not. You're weird. I don't know why your wrist looks like the floor of a bathroom. You wrapped a bathroom mat around your wrist, and now I have to take you serious. I don't understand that thing, but boy, I don't know, people. What do I know? It says disc not ejected properly. Well, guess what? I got something that was ejected properly, and it was the theme of this podcast was just, you know, it was me complaining about things. It was me finding people complaining about things. One thing that happened, I mean, speaking of the internet and just like, isn't it crazy? Like, just the internet is just constant misunderstanding. It's people watching things with zero context, not understanding it, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, and their idea of what's going on is just being cut with whatever crap is going on in their lives. And then the internet, as the person's walking away, the internet goes, hey, how'd you feel about that? And they're like, I don't know. It made me mad and it made me happy, I think. And they go, well, guess what? We have a comment section where other people are screaming, would you like to get involved? And then they're like, well, obviously. And then that happens, and we're now there. And the person who posted the video is looking at all the misunderstanding, being like, what is going on? I posted a video about juggling, and people are talking about Republicans and Democrats. It's insane how much constant just like crap is going on. And it's very frustrating too. I mean, most of the people watching this see my videos. The video I posted about the birth control. I mean, I make every one of my videos to make people smile and laugh. There's never an agenda. I mean, you hear me talk. I can barely form an opinion around hard seltzers that doesn't sound like I'm 15. I made the video about the birth control. I thought, in my head, I was laying there one day and I was just like, oh, birth control stops girls from getting pregnant. It stops sperm. I mean, my research, I even Googled how does birth control work, and it says it prevents sperm from getting to the egg. That was something in bold. If you Google that, it shows up. And I was like, okay, that's silly. And I wanted to always do like a fight scene between myself. I think they look cool. I want to low-key be an action star. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to play the egg. I'm going to play the birth control. The sperm's going to walk in. I'm going to beat its ass, and then that's it. I mean, that's literally it. Posted this video, How Birth Control Works was the title, and then next thing you know, everybody and their grandmother, just the amount of like, I got positive comments. This is funny, love it. And then it started with, this isn't how birth control works. And I'm like, And the first one I was like, I mean, okay, there's also not 3 of me, okay, I mean, thank you for that. And then what you see a lot on the internet is when one person comments something, they all pile on and comment the same thing like they didn't see the other comments. It's insane because they, in a way, see that comment is getting notifications and response. So now they want to be a part of the action because they never get notifications on their personal account. So they're like, okay, let me just say the same thing slightly different. And now you have 1 trillion people writing the exact same thing, and it just gets out of hand. And everybody's like, that's not how it works. Like, and it ranged from being like silly, like, hey, that's not how that works, but it's funny, to this is not, all capitals, this is not how it works. You need to rethink everything. This is inaccurate. I'm like, it's a comedy sketch. It's a video where I'm punching myself. There's clearly visual effects involved. I mean, what is wrong with you? Like, again, it's like we are nurturing this, like, everybody has a voice movement, which is rightfully so, but also with every good thing, there's a bad thing, to the point where you're like, what are these comments I'm receiving? To the point where these, like, this girl wrote to me, and it was a girl. I mean, it's like, and let me stop there. When I posted a screenshot of one of the dumbest comments I got, 1,000 girls wrote back in a positive way saying, this is funny, I love this. 2 were like, this is dumb. I mean, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, like, all girls. No, it's like, they're just crazy people per gender. I did another video about anxiety, and this kid, I have it, and this kid was like, you can't joke about this. I'm like, first off, I fucking have it, so shut the fuck up. I mean, so it's not, the word Karen is dumb. I think it should just be a gender neutral thing. Oh, that's a 2022 thing for me to say, but yeah, this fucking. So anyways, everyone's cool. It's just like, you just get a psycho. I mean, it's shitty that one psycho can ruin a whole group of people, whether it's fucking male, female, this, I mean, it's insane. So, you're just like, what is going on? It's like, do you, like, why is it on a small scale they want to critique people? But this mentality's always probably been here. It's just because with social media, we're so connected to people on such like if you imagine going to a movie and then, like, Tom Cruise is, like, watching Top Gun, and then he sees all the comments like on his phone. You're like, I'm sure there'd be shitty ones too, and it'd be annoying, but it's like, who are these people? You're like, you're clearly watching a sketch with, like, VR. The person's playing multiple people. There's only one of him, and you take it so literal. You're like, do you go to movies and do that? Like, at what point do you stop that, like, very literal critique of things to the point where, and again, it's like people were I had people get, like, offended because it was misinformation. You're like, what act in there was offending you? Because I'm like, at the end of the day, birth control is protecting the egg from getting pregnant. I mean, I still got the point across. I don't understand. Like, are you mad that I, like, am, like, disrespecting birth control, where I don't care about the nuances of exactly what it does? You're like, at the end of the day, I achieve the metaphor in a way. It's not like I, like, turned around and had the birth control punch the egg and then high five the sperm. You're like, and then you're just dealing with stuff. And this goes back to, and a lot of people, speaking of misunderstanding, my other podcast clip, when I was talking about, like, living in the circle, about not stressing about things that are out of control, people misunderstood that, where they're like, I'm going to live out of my comfort zone because I'm trying to be fucking more evolved. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not saying you can't live out of your comfort zone, because your comfort is up to you or not. I'm saying when things are out of your control, then you probably don't want to deal with dumb shit. One thing for me, it's like, these comments are getting out of control. It's getting out of my control, and me feeding into it is something I can prevent. That them commenting is out of the circle. Me ignoring it and not worrying about dumb people misunderstanding something is in my control. I decided to do that. Your comfort zone is how you control your life. I mean, it's like, and then even me responding to people misunderstanding about the circle thing, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And again, that's me in my circle, people. I hope I can help you. This podcast was a doozy, and it was fun, and I'm happy. I was actually happy to sit down and do this one. I think when I have time to talk and get things off my chest, it's very therapeutic, and I like it, and I hope you guys are still watching. If you're not, for all the people who are watching, you're great, and all the people that dropped off, they suck. I mean, they really suck. But they're probably busy. I mean, I can't tell you how many podcasts I've listened all the way through, so I can see where they're coming from. Maybe they're at work doing stuff. But guys, hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you here next Monday. Like, subscribe, throw me a comment. I mean, I like replying to comments, and I think it helps the algorithm. So thank you, everybody. I'll talk soon. Bye.